welcome to another video of Vibing with Via. So I have here today 3 pounds of pork leg, and I am going to be pot roasting this pork leg. Unfortunately, I didn't show you the seasoning process, but I just want you to know that I made my own Italian blend, seasoning blend. So I use sage, rosemary, thyme, oregano, savory, and a little bit of rosemary. And basically what I did first and foremost was to put a dry rub on this piece of pork, after which I did my green seasoning. So you know, my green seasoning has olive oil, scotch bonnet pepper, a little bit of garlic, and of course scallion. Layered that with the green seasoning and then went in again with another dry rub. I added a little bit, like literally 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, just to, you know, give it a little bit of flavor. Ginger soy, by the way. And you know, just to give it a help in giving it a little bit of color. I much prefer to use that than using browning in the process. Now in addition to that, you know, when you're cooking pork, you want to make sure that there is a lot of ginger on that meat. All right, so if you look in between here, you will notice that there are some clove pieces as well. On my stove here, I have a Dutch pot and I'm heating up some oil here. I want it to be very, very hot because I'm going to be going ahead and browning the pork here. You know, it might be that I'll do it as a pot roast pork, or I might still put it in the oven, but the first step here, I haven't decided fully, but the first step here is to go ahead with that browning process. So I'm waiting on this oil to hot, right? We want this to be really hot so that when it hits the pot, you're gonna hear that nice sizzle. As you can see here, the oil is extremely hot. So next stage is to go ahead and hit this 3 pounds of pork, ooh, very heavy, right here in the pot. Look. So we're just gonna leave that there and allow it to brown. So as you can see here, the browning process is going on. If you look to this section here at the top, where I'm pointing down to this section here, you will notice that that's taking place. Now, again, YouTube needs to come with this smelling icon, because you need to smell this. All these herbs coming together and being infused in the oil and being released right here into the air. Absolutely divine. I'm going to go ahead and flip this now to the other side. So if you look here, you will notice that the browning process has gone on one side. This one could take a little bit more because this side here, it's a little bit on the light side, which is okay, to be honest with you, but it can take a little bit more browning, and I'm going to go through that. But what you want to achieve is this that you're seeing right here, the char that is on the meat. That is what you want, essentially. So we'll continue this process until it gets to the stage that we believe that, hey, it's okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and pop it into the oven once this is done. Here's our 3 pound pork. I have browned it, and now I have it in the roasting pan. I'm just going to allow this to set just like this in the oven for probably another 45 minutes to 1 hour. Of course, I'm going to check at intervals just to see where the temperature is, and just to check to make sure that the meat is fully cooked. So slow roasting is fine, hence I'm putting it in a pan. It's going to be fine. It will spring its own juices, create its own base right there, which I can use to, you know, rehydrate the meat in the process. All right guys, I'm gonna pop this in the oven now. All right, so after about 1 hour, I have gone in and I have checked to see what's going on with the pork. I have checked the internal temperature with my thermometer, and it is above 170 degrees Fahrenheit, which means that the meat in itself is cooked. Now, at this stage of the game, you can choose to glaze it or turn your oven on turbo so that it cooks really and truly right through. If you want to make a glaze for it, now is the time to do it. So I'm just going to be using my base stuff to suck up some of the juices that would have been formed at the bottom, and just to, you know, glaze the top. As you can see, I started doing that right there, hence the pocket of juice. Now that is coming from the meat itself, because remember that there was fat on the side. If you look here, you could see it. All of that is being rendered down. Okay, so this is where you want to do your taste test too, just to see if it is salty enough, if it has enough ginger. This is the place. And if it also has enough pepper, enough. So I've made a little sauce to go on it, and this just has some garlic that has been infused in olive oil. It has a little bit of black pepper, paprika. I do have a little toops of bourbon, that's whiskey, that I've put in here. And I also have, did I say pepper? Yeah, I do have some pepper and some paprika. And basically I'm just whisking this together, and I've also included just a little bit of vegetable broth. Okay, if you had any other meat broth, you could go ahead with this. So I'm just putting this together here, and then I am going to be basting the meat with it. So I'm going to be using a basting brush to get this done. And of course, as the juices still flow from the pork, I'm going to just rehydrate the meat throughout the process. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna go in now and baste. So the first side here is already basted. I am going to allow this to go back into the oven for probably 2 to 3 minutes, just so that this sauce can seep all the way through the meat. And then I'm going to flip it and do the same thing on the other side. All right, guys, so here we have it. Final 2 minutes, final touches. This is our roast pork leg. Smells good, smells divine. The meat is extremely tender. Of course, once I pop this out of the oven, I'm going to allow it to rest for a while before going in and slicing. So wait for the plating. All right, so I've started the slicing process, and if you notice inside here, don't mind the way this looks. It's actually very, very tender, very moist. And of course, we have the juices from this just to make a little sauce to put in it. Okay, so this is our herb roasted pork. Bon appetit. So this is our pork that has been sliced, and right now I am just using the main bone that was in it to make a little bit of stock to form a gravy base for anybody who might be desirous of gravy. But this is it. Herb roasted pork.
Road I go start crash. Strap me in safely, the engine start up. Good food me a break, can't get enough. It's vibing with V.